We know moms are important, but dad lives matter too. I'm here to tell the world, dad lives matter too, to every boy and girl. Don't forget that daddy loves you.
What's going on, guys? I am your host, Fernie Marita with Dad Lives Matter. Tonight, I'm excited about this episode, man. I'm joined by my brother, my family, my best friend, my homie. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on. You guys already know who he is. I don't need to really give an introduction, but I am joined with my best friend, Luna. What's going on, brother?
What's up, my brother?
Man,
go.
I'm excited, bro.
Me too.
I'm excited. Before we get into the shit and before we start rocking heavy, you guys already know Luna's my right-hand man. Man, I can keep going on and on and on about our relationship. The only thing that really sucks is that he's a Raider fan. But other than that, man, we just click. It's awesome, man, and it's good to have a friend like that, a brother like that. And before we get into the episode, guys, we decided to start throwing a fee to our podcast. So the fee is pretty simple, just like our buddy says, our brother Andy talks about his fee. We have the same fee, guys. All we ask is that you share our podcast. You know, if you're getting any value, if you see value for anyone, some friends, some loved ones, all we ask is that you just share the podcast with your friends and family. That's the only fee we have. So we really appreciate that. Well, let's get into it. We've been talking about this podcast for a while, man.
For sure.
I feel like a little kid.
Hey, I want to just say, man, I think a lot of the times you get a little more chance to express how you feel. I don't really get that chance often, and for me, I want our listeners and our brothers in DLM to understand what you mean to me. You know, the realness that you bring to the table is what I appreciate. The energy that you bring to the table, the amount of conversations that we have. We can go talking every day, and sometimes we might not talk a couple days, but it's like, man, we jump on a call and we're right there, man. I fucking absolutely love that about our relationship. It's just that rare friendship that you find that you really got to cherish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, I was saying, and the crazy part is, bro, we just met.
Right. Yep.
That's the crazy
I was going to go
part,
there.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course you were going to go there because we do that shit all the time. Where we already know which direction we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's that saying? We finish each other's sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. But it's real, man. It's like, how do we meet each other? And it's just like, man, for me, it was what you brought to DLM. And it's funny because the way you looked at it was, you said, man, it was your name stuck out. Mm-hmm. For me, it was the way you said the name, Big Luna, you know, like an immediate connection, bro. So I just, I want our listeners to understand this is a two-way street. You know, the feeling is definitely mutual. The love, the respect.
Yeah. And there's a reason why I bring up our friendship pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because I'm grateful for it. I've said it over and over again. Like, if I lose Dad Lives Matter, I don't care. I gained a brother. That's worth it to me. You know, we gained a bunch of new friends. Like, man, Freddie's on here. Freddie's our co-host, our manager. He manages our podcast. Dude, that dude's all the way in New York. That's crazy. And he puts in some crazy hours. You know, we got Juan, we got Jimmy, we got Alvin, we got Holmes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, you're wearing Silverwood's shirt. We got Eli. We got Machadon, McCain. I mean, we could keep going. The cool thing is that we created all these new friendships. But one of the things that we do promote from our friendship, me and you, is go find yourself a Luna. Go find yourself a Fernie, because it helps, right? Like, people don't know how often you and I actually talk. We talk. I mean, I know we took a break. You were on vacation. I was moving in. And we gave each other our space, right? Like, hey, go handle your shit. You know, I'll talk to you when I see you. And, but, I mean, dude, I was able to talk to you when I was going through some tough times. You know, I was going through some tough times. You guys, a lot of you know that I wasn't losing my identity with Dad Lives Matter, but I was definitely struggling with my mission, right? Yeah. And trying to balance my home life balance. And it's been just so awesome. It's been very helpful to have a friend, a brother. So we highly recommend, hey guys, this is what Dad Lives Matter is about. Make sure that you find another dad friend that you can really rock heavy with, dude.
Yeah, and it's got to be somebody that doesn't agree with everything you say. I think the biggest thing I can take away from a lot of our conversations that we have that are either personal or public is we might not always agree, but we always respect, and that's what I love. And there's times where you've called me out on stuff, and I'm like, damn, that hurt, but I had to hear it. It had to put me in line, and vice versa. And I think that being a dad, you know, the day-to-day life that we go through as it is, to have a brotherly bond like that, it makes it that much more easier to go about your day. And that's what I love about our friendship.
And let's talk about that. So today's subject was, let's talk about energy, but you know what? Let's run with this. Let's run with this topic and put energy into it as well, right? Because one of the things you mentioned is you said, you know, you don't always agree with me. Hey guys, your friendships really matter. Your friendships are important because they determine a lot of how you feel, how you see the world. You know, that's where we get a lot of our trust, right? From friendships, from people. So it's how you build trust. And one of the things that you don't want is you don't want those friends that are like, they don't give you the right feedback, right? They just run with whatever you say, and you don't do that. We don't do that. We're like, hey, Doug, and we do it respectfully, right? Like, I know we can't talk about politics, but can I bring that up really quick?
Do you think?
All right, cool. So I voted for Biden, you know, and Luna voted for Trump. It doesn't matter. I never cared. I'm a Charger fan, right? And he's a Raider fan. If you know anything about the Chargers and the Raiders, you know you can't be friends.
They hate each other.
Right? It's a passion, right? Like, you can't do that. So we don't let none of that get in between our friendship, right? We never talk about politics. I mean, we've had our conversations, but not disagreements. It's always been like, oh shit, you too? No, me too, you know, like, and I'll clown on the Raiders stuff, and he'll clown on my stuff, and back and forth. But at the end of the day, we don't talk shit. We're not negative with each other. We support each other, and we give each other the truth. And that's what friendships is all about, because a lot of dads and a lot of people that I talk to, they have really crappy friends. So who are you hanging out with?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right? Like my mom used to say, the people you're with is who, right? Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. That's what she said.
Right. And brother, you look at it like this. I heard you and I have been really, really deep in Andy's podcast, man. And he had said, look at the people closest to you and tell me 3 things that you either like about them or you don't like about them. And for you, man, the list goes on of things I like about you. The father that you are, what you bring to the table, the respect that you have for your kids, for the people around you, and for brothers that you don't even know. The amount of time that you invest in the people that you don't know, the love that you share, you know, like I said, the list goes on, man. But the mindset that you have of, okay, this didn't work, fuck it, on to the next. This didn't work, all right, cool, let's fix it. It's never a shit, it didn't work, I guess I'm gonna go cry in my room. No, man, we both have gotten emotional. We both have hit the floor face first, but we both have been there to be like, hey, dude, we got to fix it. We got to move forward. You know, if I'm not picking you up, you're picking me up. You know what I'm saying? And that balance is huge. When I say I don't agree or you don't agree, it's not a disagreement of like, nah, dude, you're an idiot or whatever. No, you got to find friends that might say, hey, bro, I get what you're saying, but let me show you a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's huge. That's huge to have in a friendship.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. You know, it's not like, there's been plenty of times where I'm like, nah, fuck that. And I'm like, for sure, I'm 100% right. And then you'll say some shit. And I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't look at it like that. I guess I'm not right. You know, but because we have that friendship, we have that establishment, we also have that open-minded. So the relationship has to go both ways. It can't be just one way.
Right.
You know, it's a two-way relationship. So that's a big deal. And one of the things, too, when I was younger, I don't know if you guys ever played sports or you were into hobbies. You were a graffiti artist, right? I was a graffiti artist too. We talked about that. The only way to become a better graffiti artist is to hang out with other graffiti artists that were better than you. Right? Like when I was a skater, I became a great skater when I started hanging out with better skaters. Right? And one of the things why I'm bringing that up is because this is something that I take away from you is like, I've never said this, but I take a lot of pride in the father that I am. I'm like, damn, I'm a pretty good damn dad. right? Like I'm confident in that, right?
For
You're
sure.
probably one of the only people I've ever met, and I've never said this to you, but I'm like, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of the only people I've ever met that I'm like, holy shit, that dude's a better dad than I am. You know, and it's not competition. We're not competing against each other. That's not.
I get what you're saying, though.
You know where I'm going? Where I'm like, damn, that dude really puts in more work than I do. Like, damn, that dude's a better dad than I am. That's crazy. And all it does, it pushes me to become a better father, right?
Exactly.
And I can take away from our friendship, right? And as much as I can take away, I can also deposit, right? So I can withdraw from our friendship, but I can deposit into our friendship, right? And this is important because the whole topic of tonight wasn't about friendships, right? But we're in this topic because the point of the topic was energy, right? And you and I don't ever feel like you drain me. I don't ever get off a phone call and I feel drained, right? I'm like, fuck, that motherfucker just pumped me up. Fuck, now I got to get on it. You know, like you'll send a podcast and I'm like, shit, that's a serious podcast. I better listen to it. There's never like, I'll listen to that later. I know like, oh no, this fool he's dropping a bomb on me. I better pay attention, you know?
Right.
So this is.
But that feeling is mutual, bro, because you do the same thing. I'm trying to tell you. And I think that as dads, what happens is we're so consumed with life in general. For me, the video that you made, the I'll Figure It Out video, bro, like if that didn't hit home for all of our viewers, for everybody that watched it, I don't care what kind of man you are. I don't care what kind of dad you are. If you've never said that in your life, you're lying. Like you're lying to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I admire the hell out of wherever that brain that you pull that out of, it just fucking like, I'm like, bro, I get blown away with the one-liners that you come with that are so fucking powerful because you don't find that. You don't find that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not an extremely long, stretched out 3-hour conversation, bro. That was a powerful ass one-liner that put me on my ass. Like I can relate.
Yeah. It was quick and simple.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal, man. That's you know, it's important to be able to take away and also give, right? Like deposit and withdraw. We talked about that. And the energy, right? Like, man, this is crazy because like we only have like 30 minutes. So we decided, hey, let's jump on a quick podcast and do a quick episode. But honestly, you and I can go for like 3, 4, 5 hours.
Easy.
Right? Like there's no, like we can just do this all day, bounce back and forth. And I feel like everything we talk about, there's going to be a takeaway.
Has to be.
Right? And that's our conversations. I mean, damn, how many times we get off the phone call, I'm like, dude, we fucked up. We should have recorded that call.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And you sit on it. You sit on it, bro.
Yeah. I'm like,
you sit on it for not a day or two, but that's the sponge that you have to have as a person to respect the people around you. Understand that when somebody is investing time into you, are you an asset to that person? You're a liability. You know what I'm saying? Are you worth their energy or not? Man, I don't hop on a million phone calls because I don't have the energy or the time to waste. But I know that when I'm going to jump on a phone call with you, like I'm going to get into it. I'm going to give you my full attention. You know what I'm saying? But because I know I'm going to be able to take something away to sit on that for a minute. And it's going to either be life-changing or it's definitely going to change my perspective on whatever topic we're talking about. You know?
100%. And for our listeners, our goal here and the whole point of this podcast was definitely not to talk about the friendship. It was to talk about energy. But this goes hand in hand. So, like, if you're sitting here thinking, like, man, these two are just bragging about their friendship. No, that's not the case at all. What we're doing here, guys, is what we're saying is, like, look, you can take away, you know, you sit back and reevaluate your friendships, reevaluate the people around you, not just your friendships, right? Like I said, like, oh, Luna's like my brother, like we're family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So reevaluate your family, reevaluate your friendships, sit back and look at the bigger picture and be like, what am I getting from my friends and family? And don't be stupid. Don't be like, oh, I don't get money when I need it. None of that. That's dumb, right? You can make your own money. I'm talking about like what kind of emotional, what kind of emotional connection, what kind of energy are you getting from each other, right? Like I know that if I jump on the phone with you, I'm motivated for the rest of the day.
Right.
Like I'm pumped. Like, oh shit, hell yeah, my boy Luna's gonna be working 12 hours. I'm going to go work 12 hours too then, if that's the game we're playing, right? Like, it's a secret. I feel like I have a secret competition with you, right? And it's not like we're competitive. That's never been the case. But I'm like, oh, should he do it? I could do that too. Okay, bet. Yeah. So we're just like bouncing off each other. Boom, 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 boom. And it goes back to that thing I talked about. It's becoming 1% better every day. So for our listeners, like, what are you taking away from this? You know, and it's never too late to meet your next friend, or never too late to meet your next girlfriend, vice versa, right? Like, this all goes hand in hand. Like, we just met in December, dude.
But also take this away. Where's your loyalty to the friends that you have around you?
Yeah.
Where's the loyalty to the friend? Are you just gonna yes them? Are you just gonna be there when you can get something from them? Are you gonna invest back into them? You know, people like we were talking about the other day, people are oh, I gotta sacrifice for this, I gotta sacrifice for this. But really, just because you don't get something out of it, is it the end of the world? Is it gonna be a problem now? Nah, sometimes you gotta give. And there's where your loyalty really lies at. Am I going to dog you out when you're down? Am I going to kick you? Nah, man, I'm there to pick you up. You know what I'm saying? In this world, we already get kicked enough as it is as dads. We don't get the love, we don't get the respect, we don't get the praise, we don't get the appreciation. We get the pat on the back, and it's an expectation. Move on, keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what you have to pull away from the people that you're around. And especially, I'm gonna say this with respect, especially if you choose to bring your kids around that person.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of people are you bringing? What kind of people are you bringing around your kids? What kind of examples? For me, bro, our kids play on video games. It was like they click like us, Brooklyn and Zaya. Right? Yeah. And they, bro, love each other, feeding off each other. Zaya's always, man, Brooklyn's smart. This. You know, he's one of the best Fortnite players that I played with. All these things, man, that is motivating. And what is that showing our sons? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's the same thing, right? Like you're bouncing off each other. They don't talk crap. They support each other. They move forward. And one of the things you mentioned too, guys, and this is if you're sitting here listening to this podcast, because the one thing about me and Luna is that we try to be as respectful as possible. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But on this podcast, we talked about it. We're not fucking holding back. So we hurt your feelings. That's your fault. You know what I mean? Like it's probably a good thing your feelings got hurt. That means this topic is for you. So, you know, that's at the end of the day, that's really what we're going to go to, right? So the reason I'm saying this is because Luna said something like, don't always, if you're not getting anything out of the relationship, you're probably the problem, not your friends, right? So you have to also be self-aware that you're not the fucking issue. I mean, that they're not the issue. You're the fucking issue. Self-awareness, like, are you always taking from your friends as well? Because a lot of us are like, oh, I don't have any friends. Well, is it because you're always taking from your friends? Like, have you ever tried going the opposite way? I never jump on a phone call with you with an expectation, ever. Right? We've talked about this. Like, I've never expected anything from you, and vice versa. You know, like, if you don't pick up my phone call, you don't pick up my phone call. If you're like, I gotta go, you gotta go. Vice, the same way. About I don't pick your phone call, then I don't pick up your phone call. I'm working. There's no like, hey, dog, why didn't you pick up my phone call? It's none of that, right? There's no expectations. So that's something you got to consider as well for all the guys out there that are like, oh, well, I don't have any, because we deal with that a lot, right? Like,
bro, because there's no victim mentality between me and you.
None.
That's when I know there's guys that, or you know, when there's people around that have that victim mentality, every single thing is a poor me. It's like, man, I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but I'm not going to invest time in you because not once in this conversation have you said, this is where I messed up at. It's always everybody else's fault. You can't be that way. You can't live life like that.
No.
You're not going to get nowhere.
No.
You know? And
what's the problem with that when you talk to a person like that?
Oh, it's draining.
Exactly. Yep.
Draining.
Exactly. They take your energy.
Yeah. Gone. And then you walk away from the phone call just like, what was the point of that?
Let's go deeper into this part of the conversation because this is something that you and I have talked about. It's something where I'm like, Doc, that motherfucker just drained me. I feel tired, right? Like, you guys, we function on a what is it called? An energy, is it circumference or whatever it's called? I forget what it's called, but we waves, right? Energy waves. Like, that's how we function. Like, it sounds all scientific and Buddhas and all that stuff, but it's true. That's how we are, right? If you don't believe me, right, like, go hang out with someone that just talks the whole time and tell me you're not going to walk away mentally exhausted. You're going to, right? And that's one of the things that you and I go into where we're like, let's get on a conversation with someone. And the whole time they complain. right? The whole time they complaining, you and me are like, whoa, this ain't gonna work. Like, damn, you're just taking my energy. Because guess what? If you take my energy away, now that's energy that's taken away from my family, my kids, and everybody else. And there's nothing wrong with complaining. That's not what we're talking about. And I should rephrase that because there's always the literal people, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with complaining. We all complain. I call Luna and complain all the fucking time. Yo, gas prices are too fucking high, bro. Like, can you believe this shit? Right? Like, like, I get it. We're all going to complain, right? Like, damn, my rent just went up, this and that, et cetera, et cetera. So that's not what I'm talking about, guys. What I'm talking about is that whole complaining of, like, the world's against you. Everything you do is right and everything else around you is wrong. Like, you can't, man. How do we walk away from those conversations, you and I? Like, I'm just like, bro.
I think it's funny that some of the conversations we walk away with, or we walk away from, also is a direction deflection, what I call it. And it's when we hop in with certain phone calls. And for me, I'm really big on, as some of the listeners know, I own my own business, but I'm also a supervisor. And so when I get into an office meeting with somebody and they fuck up or whatever, why'd you do that? Oh, well, because this. No. There's an answer. The answer is I fucked up. I didn't think it through and I made a mistake. I'm man up, or whatever you want to call it. All right, cool. Take my lickings and go. Right. But it's very hard to conversate with somebody who wants growth, who wants change, who wants, help. But every single answer or advice or help you try to give them, they're deflecting it. Well, I tried that. I did that. I did this. It didn't work. Come on, man. Everything can't always be everybody else's fault, and everything can't always not work.
Right. You know what I love? I heard this today. I was listening to a trainer and he talks about this. The guy goes, "Hey, one of my I guess clients, right? Let's just say he's a word client. One of my clients comes up to me. The guy's all buff. He's on the treadmill. He's walking and he's all ripped, right? So one of my clients come up to me and he goes, "Yo, does keto work?" "Yeah, it works." The trainer goes, "Yeah, it works. Yeah, man. Would it work for me?" "Yeah, it's definitely going to work for you." "All right, cool." A week later, he comes back and he's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about calorie count. Does calorie count work?" "Yeah, man, that works. That's going to work." Yeah, that's going to work. You know what I mean? He comes back again, and he's like, "Yo, intermittent fasting work? I think I'd rather do intermittent fasting." And the guy goes, "Yeah, man, that works." That's the trainer's like, "Yeah, no, that's gonna work too." And then the trainer says, he goes, "Look, all of it works. You don't work."
Damn, I was hoping that. That's dope. That is dope.
Yo, bro, what? Stop it.
That's got to be the title of this podcast.
That's it. You don't work. I like that one. Yo, Freddie, that's the title, right? Oh, man. I know Freddie's on here listening to us. He said yes.
Hey, but man, that's deep, bro. Look how much shit have we been through together in these short amount of months, bro, and the growth that we've had to the growth that we've had to endure together, and understand that, like, at any given time we could have just said, "No, I quit. That's it. That's over." But bro, we wouldn't be where we're at if we. I'm not tooting my own horn or any of that, but we're here because we never fucking quit, bro. That was the bottom line. Like, we pushed hard. Yeah. You created something that over 200,000 dads are now investing into. I don't mean financially. I don't mean emotion. I mean time wise. And you can't get time back.
Can't get time back. That's more valuable than money.
Right? Why? Because of the energy that you bring to the table. Because of the energy of the team that you picked that we bring to the table. So I think that understand, if things don't work for you, well, fucker, you only tried it for a week, and of course, spend more time into it. You got to go through the ups and downs.
Yeah, that's a good one. Rule. There's a 3-rule policy that I follow. 3 days to get the ball rolling.
Yep.
3 weeks for it to start feeling better. 3 months for it to be a habit, and 3 years to become an expert at it.
Oh, I like that. Run that back again. Run that back.
So it's 3 days to get into the mood.
Okay.
Right? 3 weeks to shoot, what is it, 3 weeks? So like to make it easier, and then 3 months to make it a habit.
Yeah.
And then 3 years for you to become like professional in it.
I like
right?
that one.
Like when you're work, it makes sense though, right? That's why you like it, because you understand it.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what I just fucking said, you're gonna be like, what? That doesn't make no damn sense.
Yeah.
Those are the rules to anything, right? Like if you like, I don't even know what year I'm in with my medication, my mental health, right? Like I haven't even hit 3 months yet of walking every day yet, right? So it's still not a habit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still have a couple days where I fall off, and this is the thing, and I'm not. Don't just take that into consideration, guys. What we're talking about is everything in life, right? Like, oh, I did that. Well, what'd you do? 3 days of it? Well, yeah, bro. That's no, that's not how it works, man. Everybody quits after 3 days usually. That's like the number.
Hey, if you haven't failed at something while you're doing it, you can't be successful at it.
No, exactly.
Not at all. There's no fucking way. Like I can't tell you if we had a way out. I don't know. Tell me if you agree with this or not. If you had a way out the amount of times you failed to what you're doing to the amount of times you're successful, don't get me wrong. In the end, in the end, you're successful. But I'm just saying, like, you have to fucking go through that process. You know what I'm saying? And it's like working out. What do? You break the fucking muscles in order for them to come back to get bigger.
Yeah.
But man, so many people don't understand that, and it's like, oh, well, now it's hard, or now it's too much, or whatever the case may be. I'm not a guy with excuses. When we first met, what was the slogan I used to say all the time? Create results, not excuses. I live by that shit. My kids will tell you that.
And, let's be honest with everybody, man, because like I don't want to be like one of those entrepreneurs, right? Quote unquote. No. Those motivational speakers. Like, we're not perfect. We fail all the time. But we always go back to our roots. Right? We always go back to our roots. And why do we have those roots? Like, why Santa Planet us? Because we ate shit over and over and over and over and over again. People say all the time, like, oh, bro, your video blew up and you blew up. No, motherfucker, you don't know the amount of years that went on behind this. You think I could start a group and hit almost 300,000 people and be able to bounce and know every move right away like this? Like, you and I talk and we bounce off each other. That didn't happen in 3 months worth of work. This is years in the making. You and I have the same experience because we put in the fucking work, and a lot of people don't want to put in the work. Dad Lives Matter didn't happen overnight. That's crazy. Yeah. If it did, this would have never worked out. But because you and I know this, we've already been through it. We know what can come from this. That's why you and I have never talked about quitting. Now, have we talked about walking away? Yeah. Like, dog, I need a break. Let me back up. Let me. What's happening really here? Because I got to look at the photo. In a wider photo, right? Because when I go in, I'm going in, right? And I'm tired, but let's fucking get it. But never did you and I have a conversation about I quit. That never.
I can think of the one time where we both were like, man, I need a break. But when we came, we were talking to each other. We came back, and we didn't even point blame at nobody else but ourselves. Yep. Why are we acting like this? Why are we? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you remember that conversation?
Yeah, dude. Like, dude, that's what I'm laughing about. Like, shit, that's right. We did do that, huh?
It was nobody else.
No, it wasn't. It was us. What can we do to make it better? Where did we fuck up? Why are we in this position? It was never like, how did we get in this position? Why are we in this position?
Yeah. What did we allow ourselves to do to get here?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So
yeah. Just dope, bro. Like I love it. I love it. What I don't ever want people to take advantage of, or maybe not so much take advantage of, but lack the fact of how much you're doing behind the scenes, how much time you're investing behind. And this is a conversation. This is the first of many to come. I understand to the listeners though, there's so much going on behind the scenes that you're investing into this for what? For what though? Yeah. For mental health, for physical health, for emotional health and support. You know, people say, "Oh, I have this friend or I have that friend." Okay, that's cool, but what you bring to the table, Fernie, as a man, you're doing. You're not waiting on somebody else to step up and do it for you. You're fucking doing it. Yeah. And that within itself is motivation for all of the listeners, for all of the followers to understand that the leader of this, Fernie, is setting that example daily.
Thank you.
And that's man, really, really. Sometimes you got to stop and you got to look at that, man.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I appreciate that because they don't, not they, I don't want to say they because I'm like,
No.
they don't know, right? I don't want to be like that, but you guys, all our listeners, like, you guys don't see all the back end work that goes into this. You don't. You know, there's a lot of back end work. There's a lot of video content that we're like, damn, should I even post that? Or there's a lot of phone calls. How many times where I was like, Luna, we got to jump on a call with somebody. This has happened. And keep in mind, we're both business owners. We're both supervisors at our jobs. We literally almost have the identical schedule. Luna definitely works more than I do. I will say that. But we have a very similar situation work-wise, right? So on a job site, when we're both working our primary job, we will step away from our job, which pays our bills and supports our family, to step away to talk about how we can make dad lives better, because that's how important this is to us.
Yeah.
But nobody sees that, right? Everybody just sees the mistakes that we make. And that's cool. I'm all about it. Like, hey, that's good. At least I'd rather you
point
pay
them out.
attention than nothing. Yeah, that's cool,
Yeah,
man.
point them out.
Right? Like, all right, cool. Thanks. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we don't sit back. We acknowledge it, we rock it, and then we get the fuck out. So I don't know, man. I know we can keep going and going and going, but I do apologize, guys. We have about 3 minutes left. So, Luna, what's on your heart, man? How do you want to finish this?
I think that a lot of the dads, I would like to take a minute to stress the fact of how many different avenues that you're opening for the dads that are coming up. The support that that is expected of us. We need the same support back. You know, we need the same love back. You know, a simple thank you. If you want to support us, it's dope as fuck to see the videos. Look it, I'm wearing Silverwolf shirt. I paid for it. I'm rocking it. You know what I mean? For the listeners, when this goes on YouTube, that's investment back. I love seeing the videos where the dads are rocking our sweaters or rocking our the cups. You know, the videos with their kids. Like, man, understand that's out there for you guys.
The tattoos.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, you guys take advantage of it, man. You know, show love, show support, but that also it's you know what I mean? It's a doorway for other dads to see there's help out there. There's support out there.
Yeah, there is.
You know?
And let's be clear to all the listeners as well. Me and Luna, we have mixed families.
Mm-hmm.
We put in the work, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't like, oh, I have it all put together. No. I have 2 baby mamas. I have mine, and ours, as far as children go. Right? Like, I've been in and out through the court system. Like, we've gone through the drains. I've been homeless. I've done it all with my kid. So any excuse that anybody tells us, you and I, 90% of the time, we already been through it.
Yep.
Right? I've never been through a divorce, but you have.
Yep.
Right? Like, so if I don't have the answer, guess who's got the answer? Luna's got the answer for you. So it's not that we don't feel bad for you guys. It's that we've been through it. So we're going to give you the best advice that we wish someone gave us during those times.
Exactly.
Right? The best advice that my friend gave me when I was homeless was pour that shit out and start over. Right?
You got to give him the whole thing.
Give him the whole thing before I get out, and we'll finish off with that. So the best advice was, I was homeless. I was sleeping on my friend's floor. I had my baby. I'm holding Brooklyn. Brooklyn was about 2 years old, and I'm crying. And I'm thinking to myself, God, how the hell did I end up in this situation? Guys, my baby mama at the time was a nightmare. A nightmare. She was like, I don't care if you're homeless, figure it out. This is your weekend with our baby, right? It's your weekend with our baby. You figure it out. I'm going to go see my boyfriend. Yeah. So trust me, guys, it hurt. And even being homeless, I still had to pay child support, right? So I'm in my buddy's room. I'm crying. I'm holding my baby. He falls asleep. And I'm thinking, like, God, why? And how did this happen? I'll never fucking put us in this situation again. I'm going to get us out. So my buddy's like, hey, man, come have a drink with me. So we're on the patio drinking some whiskey. Pours me some whiskey. I love whiskey, by the way, guys. I'm a big whiskey guy, just for the record. And so he pours me a glass, right, of whiskey. It's halfway, right? And he has his. He goes, hey, man, that cup, is it half empty or half full? Guys, that's one of the worst things you can tell someone when they're at the bottom of the bottom. Is it half empty or half full, right? Like, man, fuck you, right? That's how I felt, right? Like, fuck you. Like, how dare you ask me a stupid question? Because I know what you want to hear, but I know how I feel, and they're 2 different things, right? He was smarter than me, though. He was way ahead of the game. And he looked at me and he goes, grabs the cup, And he pours it out. Pours out my whiskey. I'm like, ah! I'm poor, man. That's good whiskey. And he looks at me and goes, bro, sometimes you got to pour that shit out and start over. Oh, my goodness, guys.
Yeah.
I took that with me for the rest of my life. Guys, it's okay to pour that shit out and start over. We're going to go ahead and finish this episode with that. I know Luna and I could keep going, but we do have to get on with the Patreons. So all the patrons that are listening to these episodes, you guys, obviously the patrons get first dibs at the podcast, the YouTube. We want to thank you guys for your support, man. Seriously, for all the patrons. Like, you're investing money into it. We're investing our time. You're investing your time. We're investing money. It's a vice versa situation, and we just really appreciate it, man.
For sure. For sure.
Luna, you want to close that off?
No, man, you couldn't close it off any better. I love y'all.
Boom. Let's head out of here, guys. Again, before we head out, just do us a big favor, man. Go ahead and leave a review. It just really helps us out. We're really trying to get back on the podcast. We apologize if we dropped the ball, because we did drop the ball as a team, but we're coming back stronger. We're coming back better. I mean, there's just going to be so much things happening. I mean, the dad pod is going to start rocking heavy. The patrons are rocking heavy. I mean, we keep going back and forth, guys. So thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for your feedback. We really, really appreciate that. You guys, as I said, there's a small fee. The fee is if you're able to get any value from this, just share it with your friends and family. We really appreciate that. Make sure you check out our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, our Patreon, our YouTube, and the podcast. All right, guys, with that being said, we are out of here. Much love. We love you guys, and thank you for listening to Dad Lives Matter.
We know moms are important, but dad lives matter too. I'm here to tell the world, dad lives matter too, to every boy and girl. Don't forget that daddy loves you. I'm here to tell my brothers, check your six, man, we got you. I know you feeling unappreciated, all stressed out. Dad lives matter is what this is all about. Just text the family friend and he can tell you right now. The stresses and the strain really gets up dad's brain. Husbands, fathers, baby daddy, baby mama, this kid, that kid. Damn, I'm tired of all the drama. I just wanna come home and chill, house clean,